promised I was going to chop away the bushes that were around my mulberry. And I'm telling you, I did get the bushes down. But in order to see the mulberry, I had to chop down portions of the mulberry. It was so entangled. So now I have two sticks coming up out of the ground, but it will grow back because it was severed all the way down to the earth already by my son. An accident, he never knew it was a fruit tree, and it sprung back up. So let me show you what's left of my mulberry. So this is what is left of my mulberry. But I know it will come back up. If it did it already, it will bounce back. And behold, the woodland that was covering all of this was on top of my mulberry. All of that. It was so difficult to get this down. I was trying to unravel the twines, but those twines were no longer just little twines. Some of them is as big as trees. My word. So in order to get it off, I had to chop the tree, so that I could free it up and it can spring back. Wow. Well, I've accomplished one task. So I want you to see the seed that is all of this that you're looking at is French thyme. And I need to get rid of most of this out of my yard. I might have to set a fire to it. Lord have mercy upon me. So I now have a pathway again. I want to tell you that right here, where you see all of this, is a walkway. But there's so many things growing in this walkway, and all of this came about during the burial product period, rather. Not product, but period. So during that process, I was unable to walk because I had a broken limb. And everything just went wild, just went wild, just went wild. Please note, I cleared all of my land of all of the wild tamarind and all of the maca tree them. You want to call them, if you're proper, you can say thorn, but we call them maca. That's it. Jamaicans give everything a new name. So we clear out the whole of the kasha maca them. So we call it kasha maca. We clear out the whole of the kasha maca tree them. And my word, the only thing that was in my yard was French thyme and leaf of life in the back. And all of what you see in my yard again, all of the kasha maca, all of the leaf, all of the wild tamarind, is from next door them come. Next door. Next door. I tell you, nevertheless, I go and get to that stage where I don't have any of them in my yard again. That's my plan. So I'm going to now make my fish hydrolyze it because my cabbages need to be properly nourished and I intend to do so. So stay tuned for that. Hello again, world, and welcome right back into my garden. This is Anne from Yardsteading in Jamaica. So today I'm going to take you along a journey. I'm going to be making some fish hydrolyzed for my garden, especially for my cabbage plants. So stay tuned now. I'm going to start with the making up of the lid of the bucket so that I can insert a piece of hose in there that I'm going to put into a bottle with some water so that once I lock the ferment chamber, I don't have to open it again, or the pressure from the fermentation won't cause the lid to blast off. Okay? This is mad science. Okay then? Stay tuned. In my blender, I have fish. I'm not putting any dirty stuff in my blender. So that fish belly is not rotten fish. This is fish that I would consume. Yes, me sacrifice some of my personal fish to make the fertilizer, to grow the vegetable when me want to eat with fish. Okay? So into this blender, if I make uh, a liter, blend this with a liter of water, then I'll have to dilute this afterwards into 5 liters of water. And I'm going to be using rainwater for this process. So this is the fish. So it is the fish, and my search for unsulfured molasses came up negative, so I buy the regular molasses that is there, and I'm gonna pray that it works just as well. Okay, so into this fish, I'm going to be putting half a cup of molasses and 1 liter of water, and I'll puree. Once it is poured into the bucket, I will go underneath a Zenesberry tree to get a handful of mulch. Is that what it is called? You know that little black dirt that the leaves decompose and make a leaf mold, and add it to the bucket, not to my blender, add that to the bucket, stir because that should have been microbes in there, and the microbes will then begin to feast on what is my fish. This is a 2 week process to make the fish hydrolysate. So it is based on what I have been told. I have not personally made hydrolysate before. This is my first time making it. I normally make the fish emulsion, which takes almost 2 months or more to make. So this is supposed to be a 2 week process. So I'm gonna get into it. Stay tuned. All right, so we are blending the fish with the molasses right now. I have poured the blended fish and molasses into this 5 gallon bucket, and I have added an additional 4 liters of water to this. So this is now a 5 liter quantity. So all the little things you see swimming around in there are fish particles. So I'm now going to get the leaf mold from underneath the tree and about a handful to add to this. Stir it around. I'm gonna put a hole into the lid, add a piece of tubing in through the lid about an inch in, and then I'll fill a bottle with water, put it on the top, stick the tube into the water, and that will act as the burping system that will hinder the lid from being blown off during the fermentation stage. So I'm going to go get the leaf mold now. Feel free to come along. Leaf mold. So this is where I would find it because I tend to pick critters that do the decomposing, and yours truly is going to be sticking her hand into this. All right, let me go put on the glove now so I can take this up and not feel so icky. So there's my leaf mold. I'll be getting that in a minute. Leaf mold has been gathered and will be added into the container. So once it has been added into the container, all that I need to do is to stir. I fix the lid and I'll show you the rest of the what needs to be made up to make the fish hydrolysate is already in the container. So what I'm gonna do now is to fix the lid and I'll show you that process. So I've drilled a hole in the lid and I'm going to be inserting this piece of piping into the lid. The piping or the hose have been inserted into the lid, and I am now going to be capping the container, and then I will be filling the bottle with water to set atop the container. So stay tuned for that. All right, so I had to change the lid because I was not getting a tight seal on the lid, and it has to be snug. It has to be snug. So I have resealed, changed the lid, pierced a hole in this new lid, stick the straw in. This was a hassle to get in. So this is now the bottle of water into which I'm going to be sticking this end of the tube. And like I said, this is to ensure that during the fermentation process, the lid is not forced up by the pressure. So this burps or relieve the gases that are built up during the fermentation process. Yes, so today is what? The 17th of January. So it is 2 weeks from now that this portion should be ready to be utilized on my brassicas. Have a blessed day. Jah guide.